Yikes. Yeah. These past couple of weeks, not very good. Yeesh. I know there's been some crazy results and some crazy games and crazy wins and losses and all that other crap. That's true, but god damn. I can't get right now. And this happens. There will always be like a stretch every year where I go like a couple of weeks and I just suck. I've hit that stretch now. And I'm about a week away from having to try and do some type of incantation or some type of spell or some type of jinx reversal, do some voodoo or something to try and snap out of it. Because last week was bad. Worst week of the season. Only 6-8 picking winners and 6-8 against the spread. Like, this was not good. This was certainly not a very good performance. And nothing to be proud about. There is no excuse to make. Just got to figure out how to be better. Like I said, the past couple of weeks, it has been tough. And yeah, there you go. So I am hoping that this weekend before Thanksgiving, that the holiday cheer will start a little bit early for me and there'll be some type of blessing that'll be bestowed upon me where I don't look like a total idiot doing my picks. Now, Thursday night, while I thought New England would win, I did take Atlanta with the 6.5 or the 7-point spread, whatever it was. As I'm trying to think of, maybe the Falcons won't do so badly here. It's at home. It's a short week. New England just coming off of that big win against Cleveland. Maybe they look at Atlanta as a bit of a letdown. And all that shit didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, New England won, but Atlanta looked like shit. And you have to start questioning if you're Atlanta. Why did you pass on Justin Fields or Mac Jones just so that way you could keep Matt Ryan, but then trade Julio Jones, and then you realize you can't foresee the things happening like with Calvin Ridley, but goddamn. What the hell are you doing there? Oh, that was a rough game to watch on Thursday night. Please stop putting the Falcons at prime time. Signed, America. Anyways, so, kind of a mixed bag already to start off the week. Now we got to go into the rest of Week 11 of this 2021 NFL season and look at the picks. So let's go ahead and do this and get this misery over so that way I can see whether or not I got the Jeff Jinx still going. You got the Colts traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Bills are 7-point favorites. The Colts have done well by themselves to get back up to 500. Meanwhile, for the Bills, they certainly had a good performance last week against the Jets. Buffalo -7. I'll give you that. I think Buffalo wins, but I think Indianapolis could be just competitive enough to maybe slide in a backdoor cover or something. So I will take Indianapolis to cover the 7 points. You got the Ravens traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. There's a potential trap game here for the Ravens, especially when you look at the rest of their schedule coming up. A couple of games against the Browns and the Steelers sandwiched in between those two Browns games. And then you've got, games against the Bengals and the Rams and Steelers at the end of the season. Green Bay's mixed in there in the middle. It's a rough, brutal stretch of games for Baltimore. And going into this matchup against the Bears football, you might sit there and say to yourself, the Bears might have a chance here. If the Ravens hadn't just got rocked 10 days ago, on freaking Thursday night against the Dolphins. So I will take Baltimore -6. You've got the Lions traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. I mean, this is quite a bold choice. The Lions just got, their first non-loss result of the season last week. It was a tie against the Big Ben-less Steelers. Meanwhile, the Browns got their shit absolutely rocked by the Patriots, but somehow they're 12-point favorites here. That feels curious. I can certainly understand being favorites, but 12 points seems a bit much. I think Cleveland wins this game because Detroit's probably going to try and wait for their first real win of the season to come Thursday on Thanksgiving against the Bears. But I like Detroit to cover the 12-point spread here. You got the Texans, those poor woeful Texans, traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Tennessee -10. Yeah, I've got to smash that all day long. I'm sorry, not sorry. What should be a good one is the Packers traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. There is a bit of history here in recent years of, I think 2019 the Packers might have beat them twice, but usually they kind of split it. Like 2018, if I remember correctly, it was like a week 1 or week 2 game and they tied, and then Minnesota actually beat the Packers later on in the regular season. I think 2020 they split the series between the two of them. This is a interesting game. Like, if the Vikings have any delusions at all of potentially making a race out of this division, they have to win this game. They have to hang another loss on the Packers. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, if they want to basically effectively clinch the division now, win this game against Minnesota. That's what it's going to take. You know, because once you do that, it's all she wrote. It's probably an inevitability anyways, but you want to secure your spot as quickly as you possibly can. For this matchup, certainly the Packers aren't as explosive offensively as they once were, but I think they're more balanced, more complete in terms of their running game and their ability to defend. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, their defense is still not great, but their offense, you know, while Vikings fans might be frustrated at some of the things they see with Mike Zimmer and so forth, but you're seeing some good things out of this offense too. So even though Green Bay's favored by 1 on the road, I actually like Minnesota in this spot. Give me Minnesota plus the 1. You got the Dolphins traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Did I read right that Joe Flacco might be starting Elite Joe in the NFL lineup still? How does that happen? Give me the Dolphins minus the 3. As much as they suck, yes. I understand. And none of it makes any fucking sense anymore. You got the Saints traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites, which I kind of get here. But I like the Saints in this matchup. I mean, they came back and almost tied it up against the Titans last week on the road. So I like the Saints. Give me the Saints plus the 2.5. Got the Washington football team traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. And how about this, huh? Ron Rivera coming back to Carolina. Chance at a revenge game for him. Meanwhile, Cam Newton's going to be the starter for the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. And oh boy, that was such a great move to bring in Sam Darnold, huh? All types of storylines and subplots here for this one. Riverboat Ron versus former MVP Cam. Cam's back home. Rivera coming back home, so to speak. I'll take Carolina minus the 3 because their defense is much better than Washington's right now. Although, it is hard to know what you're going to get out of Cam for a full start. Like, that's the piece that's really hard for me to get a read on this game. You know, it really is. Because, ugh. You know, at least with Washington, you kind of know what you have with Heineke and their offense. Not sure what you have with Cam right now. We're going to find out. You've got San Francisco traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Take San Francisco to win, but I'll take the Jags to cover the 6.5-point spread because, sure, what the fuck, why not? We'll call it the Trent Baalke revenge game, huh? Moving over to the late Sunday games, late Sunday afternoon, you got the Bengals traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. I actually like the Raiders plus the 1 to win this game. You got Dallas traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, and you know that's going to be plastered. That's national game of the week, game of the century until the next time the Cowboys play somebody, and then it's obviously the game of the century. You got the Chiefs as 2.5-point favorites here. This is a big spot for both teams. Like Kansas City, you know, after their performance last week on Sunday night against the Raiders, like you want a validating performance to say that, hey, the Chiefs are back, the offense is back, Mahomes is back. If you're the Cowboys, you're looking at this and saying, yeah, you kind of had a cupcake schedule, but, you know, coming off of that blowout win over the Falcons last week, you want to come back and validate that type of performance against a good team. This game should be, hopefully, a lot of fun, but I'll take Chiefs minus the 2.5. Arizona and Seattle, like, ugh. Seattle looked like dog shit last week against Green Bay. Russ was bad. But if the Cardinals don't have Kyler Murray, they'll be probably very bad too. I'll take Seattle plus the 1, which I originally was leaning towards Arizona minus the 1. It was almost a damn pick'em game, basically. I'll take Seattle because why not? The Sunday night matchup, you've got the Steelers traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers minus the 5.5 here. Yeah, I'll take the Chargers minus the 5.5. And then the Monday night matchup, why did they put these two teams again in prime time? I mean, didn't they do this last year? Didn't the Giants and the Bucks play on Monday night? Yeah, I believe they did. I understand you're looking at the combination of New York market and Tom Brady, and assuming that's going to drive you a decent ratings number, but both teams actually have to be good. And the Giants suck. That said, though, they played them tough last year, and I'm going to stay true to the formula that I deployed last week, is that with Washington, they played and arguably gave the Bucks their toughest playoff test last year, so I picked Washington to cover like the 9.5-point spread. I'm going to do the same thing here, 11 points. Against this Giants team, like I'm fully confident the Bucks will win, but it could get crazy on some of these primetime games sometimes. I like the Bucks to win, but I like the Giants to cover the 11-point spread. So those are my roster of picks for this week. That certainly will suck, and I'll come back next week and talk about, oh my God, I can't believe how terrible I am. I put the Jeff Jinx on myself, and it'll all be true. So as always, you are welcome to go against me with your picks in the comments section. Let me know how much better you are than me. Let me know how great you are and how magnificent you are and all of that, because you know you're going to revel in it. And you should. You absolutely should.